Is Rishi Sunak English? It used to not be a question. Sir Fraser Nelson, a limp-wristed liberal tosser who pretends to be right-wing, started a fierce debate recently as to whether or not Rishi Sunak is English, and the wider question as to what does it even mean to be English in the first place. Most of us intuitively know that English is an ethnicity, and just being born in England does not make you of English heritage. But in his absurd article, Fraser Nelson basically argued, if you think an Indian man of Indian heritage with an Indian wife who describes himself as Indian is in fact an Indian man, then you are woke right. He then went on to the Trigonometry podcast to further publicly embarrass himself.
I would say that Rishi Sunak is as English as Tizer and Wyferns, right? He is absolutely English. He was born and bred here. And I wouldn't say that the colour of his skin makes him any
He's
less.
a brown Hindu. How is he English?
Because he's born and bred here.
So by being born here, you become English, in your opinion?
Yeah.
Absolutely ridiculous. So if I was born in Nigeria, I'd be a Nigerian, despite the fact that a DNA test would instantly disprove that. This British man, who was born and bred in Japan and speaks their language perfectly, still doesn't claim he's Japanese because he intuitively knows how ethnicity works.
Can you introduce your background?
So I was born and raised in Tokyo, Japan. My family's been living in Japan for past 3 generations. All 4 of my grandparents moved to Japan in the 50s and 60s.
Do you consider yourself British or Japanese?
So when I was growing up, I thought I'm British, but I grew up in Japan. In the UK, I say I grew up in Japan, I'm from Japan, but I never say I'm Japanese. I'm not from a Japanese family, so I'm quite hesitant to say I'm Japanese, and I would never say that.
Fraser Nelson is an absolute disgrace and a fake conservative.